Well, today, Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs took part in an Ask Me Anything discussion on Reddit. The mayor's office confirmed to us tonight that he took part in the discussion. The post first went up around 2 this afternoon. Many of the questions centered on the opioid epidemic. One person asked if we should imprison addicts or find ways to treat the epidemic as a public health crisis. He said, "We cannot incarcerate our way out of this problem. We need prevention to help folks from being addicted." Another person asked why the mayor decided to participate in the WWE Crown Jewel event back in November. At the time, there was controversy surrounding Saudi Arabia and the death of a journalist. Mayor Jacobs said the WWE donated $100,000 to the Knoxville Public Safety Foundation because of the event. He says it was also arranged long before the controversy.
Well, for many people, January is the time to start fresh and start the new year from scratch. But unfortunately, many studies suggest most divorces between married couples also happen in January. There is some good news, though. The University of Tennessee has partnered with a nonprofit to educate people on relationships as well as fixing marriages.